In 2013, Bachmann announced their new Chuggington range. They were put for sale earlier this year and I have recently come across buying some of their new product. There were many things that made me hop around the room and many things that made me really frustrated. In this review, I'll be outlining all of the good things about this range as well as some of the flaws. So, let's ride the rails and get this review rolling. The first thing you see with these models are their packaging. They are boxed up in the same kind of plastic container you would see in the Thomas range, just with a different background card and of course, a complete different product. When you take the engine out of the box, you will notice it'll come in a plastic piece, and you may struggle getting him out of it. In fact, part of his bogie came off when I tried. At least he's secure. But when you take out the rolling stock, it is the complete opposite. As demonstrated, there is hardly any resistance or restriction on the plastic piece. Whilst I was taking out many of the rolling stock pieces, they were unsecured and they flew out of the box and onto the ground. Thank goodness for the carpet. The main problem with the packaging though is the packaging itself. This kind of packaging is cheap and nasty, as it is extremely difficult to open, never mind the fact that it is a hazard to children. These little plastic pieces that can come flying off are sharp, and I've cut myself on this style of packaging several times. And since this is a children's character, there is no doubt that there will be children around it, which means that this packaging can be a huge hazard to kids. I cannot stress how horrible this packaging is, and it certainly is not something you would expect for the hefty price you pay, but I'll get to that later. Once the trains themselves are out of the box, they look fantastic. The products I originally purchased were Brewster, low-sided gondola, and boxcar, but I liked them so much I purchased more. I added the flat car, blue hopper car, and yellow hopper car to my collection, giving me all the Bachmann Chuggington freight they sell. The Brewster engine looks and runs fantastically. Unlike the Thomas range, Brewster Bachmann does not have moving eyes, but in place, a working headlight. I really like how Bachmann is adding different features to these trains to make them differ and have their own speciality. I run a DCC layout, which means that all the engines I buy need to have a DCC chip, a decoder, installed. Some engines have a plug-in for a decoder, but the Thomas range does not, which means I have to change the wiring on the circuit board a little bit. I was not looking forward to doing this with Brewster, but was very pleased to find out that Bachmann Chuggington is actually DCC ready. Bachmann is not advertising that anywhere on the packaging or website, so it's a complete surprise. Bachmann, if you want to sell more, you should probably think about doing that. So after a quick decoder plug-in, Brewster runs great. However, he does feel really plasticky and cheap, and to be honest, some of the rolling stock does too. The boxcar, gondola, and hopper cars feel great. The flat car feels really cheap. And I also found that the hopper cars, coupled to a wagon with buffers, struggle as they clip the buffers and derail. Again, these are not things you would expect for the hefty price you pay. All the prices I am about to state are accurate as of May 2014. The low-sided gondola retails for $37. Not bad, but for this tiny wagon it's way too expensive. I paid $12.99 for this product, and I wouldn't pay any more than $20. The boxcar retails for $41. Again, way too much. I paid $14.99 for this product and wouldn't pay more than $25. This is made completely out of plastic and it looks nice, but it's not the quality I would expect for $41. Next are the hopper cars, which retail at $31. Again, no. This is too much, as again they do not have the quality I would expect. I paid $10.99 and wouldn't pay more than $20. Especially since they easily derail. Not at that price. The last wagon, and certainly most absurd, is the flat car. For some reason, the smaller the wagon, the bigger the price. The logic Bachmann is following I'm not aware of. The flat car retails for $34. How about no? I paid $11.99 for this car and I wouldn't pay more than $15. Why is this more expensive than the hoppers? I don't know, especially when it uses the least plastic. Finally, there's Brewster, coming in at a whopping $105. Last year it was $95, but he's gone up in value. Well, Bachmann value. This engine is not worth $105. It feels clunky and kinda cheap. It performs well and is DCC ready, but I bought a DCC installed engine with more detail for just $80 recently, and it was manufactured by Bachmann. This may be a brand name train, but this is way too much. I paid $34.99 for this engine, and I would not pay more than $50, maybe $60 at a push. This engine is not worth $105, and do not pay that price. It is not worth it. Do some real searching to find this engine cheaper. I searched for a few days to find it at this price. Just please do not pay over $75 for this engine. It is not worth it. Bachmann, seriously, you need to lower your prices on this range or increase the quality. This is really expensive, especially when they're made of cheaper plastic and come in this dangerous and hazardous package. Really, Bachmann, up the quality or lower the price if you'd like to sell more. This is really too much. That being said, this range is really nice. The engines in rolling stock look and run great. Just when you pick them up and feel them, they kind of feel cheap, and they are way overpriced. Again, if you want to buy some of this range, do not pay the prices that Bachmann wants. Do some searching and save some money. I do recommend this range highly, just not at Bachmann's price. Until next time, this has been a CalleyFan review.